Hello, everyone. I'm gonna lower the music a little bit. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Halloween. It is Halloween. It is October 31st, the Day of the Dead. The music I'm playing for tonight is something that I found called Free Halloween, No Copyright for YouTube Videos Halloween Music. I don't know how accurate that is, but it is something. I wanted to have a little bit of spooky. Hi everyone. I am still recovering from a cold, so that's why my voice is a bit fucky. And also, I did go to a Halloween party yesterday, which also makes your voice a little fucky. So today I am the Crypt Keeper. Hello, boils and ghouls. And welcome to my Hangout, end of the month Hangout. It's a normal end of the month Hangout. Well, normal in the sense of like I am going to do the things that I usually do. And there's a pumpkin behind me. There's a pumpkin and a skull that I got from Mexico on a little thing. When I went on vacation there from years ago. Hi everyone. The way this works is, we stream for roughly an hour, and we talk about the month that has been and the month that is coming up. Yes. On my last Hangout, I said that I was gonna make a normal video coming out today. No, not happening. Simply because there is simply because I've been a bit sick and I've been overworked a little bit. So I'm my next like proper video is gonna come out on the end of November, and instead of a full video, you got my sort of like Team C's charity thing that I wanted to do, which isn't a full video, but it's like 8 minutes of content, 2 weeks after my most recent video, and it's gonna have to set you over. I hope that's okay. My next video that's gonna come out in November proper. It's probably going to be one of the more ambitious videos that I've ever made. And it's a return to a topic I've done before. So that's going to be fun. I know it's going to be a little bit of a wait until then, because it's going to be like a month until then. But I hope that's okay. I'm taking solace in the fact that like a lot of the YouTubers who I look up to take like 2 or 3 months between videos, and here I am. I still do monthly content, even if it's maybe not like a full video essay every time. Hope you're having a good Halloween so far. Hope you're having a spooky time. It is Sunday, so most of the Halloween parties I think I've already been. But for those of you who are still having Halloween parties or are going to have some, hope you have a good time. For those of you who didn't have any, that's great, because we're still in a pandemonium, and that's fine to do if you can't, or if you don't want to. Like Halloween comes every fucking year, and I often don't go to parties because I have social anxiety disorder. 8 hours. Is the time different? I think the time is different because the European Union went back an hour, and I don't think you have. Most Americans probably are still stuck in old hours, so the hours are different. The way this works is, I'm going to look back at the month that's been, so let's do that. First of all, what the fuck has happened in my YouTube career the last month? I honestly don't remember. Do you know why? Because I don't have enough time in my day. Let's see. 2 weeks ago, I released a video about psychiatry and if it's fake or not. And that one has come out and has been moderately well received. I have gotten a little bit of criticism, which I do want to sort of like quickly address, even if I don't necessarily agree with all of it. Some people are talking about. I released a video and it was a critique of like psychiatry, both as a science, its connection to psychology, and also sort of like the problems that it has in connection to this real world application. Which is why I start talking about very widely, like a quick history of psychology, theories of like how the mind works, how those theories are sort of applied to psychiatric healthcare, and then talking about like even if it is properly applied, which isn't necessarily isn't always, the system is shitty anyway. Why Wilson Hall of the Mountain King? What the shit? Are the lamps changing? Am I haunted? God, it's typical Halloween. I thought it was a pretty good video. I liked it. Hasn't performed the best, but it performed perfectly adequately. Can't complain. It's probably gonna hit my subscriber count before it's been out for a month, which I see always as a great success. I can't listen to this fucking song. And I did get some critique on that, some feedback. One said that I conflate too much of psychiatry and psychology, which fair. But I do also feel like I sort of make that clarification early on in the video that I'm going to oversimplify things a bit, and that I have to sort of draw a very like distinction about like everything and the field that I'm talking about. So I think that's fine, but I could definitely have made a bit of a more distinction. I've gotten some criticism being like, you misrepresent the entire healthcare sector. Healthcare systems are perfect and never do anything wrong. To which I want to say, no, you're fucking wrong. And then there are some people who sort of said that like, here's like 80% of the feedback I got for that video. 40% said that I was too harsh on psychiatry and that I misrepresented it, and the other half said that I wasn't harsh enough. And the remaining 40% of that 80% said that it wasn't harsh enough. So I feel like I have a perfect mix of no one thinks that I got the correct amount of thing, which means I have to do something right. However, it is one of the most like well-liked videos that I've made, which I do appreciate, and the feedback that I have gotten has been very nuanced and like well written, which I appreciate, because that's you know when you make YouTube videos, typically people make the sort of comments of you're wrong because gay, like, and that's typically the best you get, but I do like that I've gotten sort of like a bit of a nuance. I have gotten contacted by a few actual psychiatrists. I did consult with a few psychiatrists while making the video, but I got contacted by a few after having made it, and they all basically validated me, which is very nice to say. Where experts in the field say, yeah, pretty much, it fucking sucks. We're just basically flinging spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. And that's sometimes okay because it works. Sometimes it does stick, but sometimes it doesn't work, and that's bad. And so I think that went pretty well. Other things that have happened in regards to that video, not much. I feel like I could have edited it a bit more. I got a bit stressed. It is the first video I've made in my new apartment. And I hadn't found like a studio space, and I hadn't really figured out how to make the videos here. Now, I'm looking forward to making a video here because I know a bit more what I'm doing, cause new apartment and everything, so that's happening. I also made a very short video about the hashtag Team Seas. I got contacted very late in that entire process, like only like a week ago. I found out that they were doing like a Team Seas charity thing, and I do want to talk a little bit about that too, because I did get some feedback about that before I start talking about anything else. it's a very sort of like, I wanted, initially when I got the prompt, I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna make a whole video essay about like human history and in relation to rivers and the ocean and everything like that. I'm gonna make like a history video about humanity and like river civilizations and shit, and pollution, and like how pollution has influenced everything. But then I got sick, and I've been sick for like a week, and as you can hear, I'm still a little bit sick. So that entire thing just went out the window, and I was like, fine, whatever. What I am going to do is I'm going to record a little bit of footage, and I'm going to do like a call to action thing, just like, hey, clean up the oceans, please. That's going to be fine. And I think that's good. I think that's fine. There were a lot of people in Standard, which is the sort of network that I'm on, a lot the people who run Nebula, basically, who levied some critique, and this is critique that I've also gotten. No, not this song. Can I have just free horror music? Ooh, this might be fine. Oh, that's too loud. Ooh, spooky. So some people had a problem with the Ocean Cleanup, which is one of the charities involved in Team Seas, saying that they misspent funds, they don't really do a super good job, and they and contributing to this sort of thing. Oh God, the music! Jesus. Okay, fuck this. I'm going back to my normal shit. This it's not Halloweeny, but it fucking works. And so so a couple of people who are way smarter than me, they levied this critique too, and we some people talked to the people like in charge of Team Seas, and like the event, not the ocean cleanup, mentioned this critique and like talked about, hey, what are you doing to sort of mitigate these things? And the answers that they gave were pretty satisfying to me, in the sense of like that there is going to be like a significant amount of oversight, and that there's going to be a significant amount of like these charities are not going to do these things on their own. In that sense, like they're the ones who are going to like get the money, but like they're also going to have to. A lot of the money is going to be like earmarked to do specific things, and I think it's going to be pretty. I think that's fine, and there are some people who also commented in the sense of like, well, if you do this, then are we not like ignoring actual good practices and like lobbying governments and stuff like that? Which half of the video in the end was just like, that's. You don't need to be concerned about that, because people talking about a thing like pollution in the ocean typically prompt more people to talk about like related subject matters, being like, and even the fact that like, well, why are we talking about pollution in the ocean when we should be talking about like climate change generally, or like acid rain or whatever? And the answer to this is, well, now you are. Like before we weren't, and now we're talking about ocean pollution and acid rain and global warming. Like what does that mean? It's generally a good thing. Yeah. Had it been like Team Trees, I probably wouldn't have been as on board either, just because Team Trees was marketed in a very specific way, which I probably wouldn't agree with, but I also think that like removing plastic from the oceans is just good, because it needs to get out of there one way or another. And $1 per pound of plastic in the ocean is a really good like ratio of like pounds invested into waste removed. But we'll see if it actually works. So that's that. That's what I sort of wanted to talk about, and I'm still happy with like those videos, still both of them, despite the feedback. because the feedback has been like pretty like I don't agree with some details, but overall it's fine, and I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Yeah. And now, starting tomorrow, I'm starting to work on my next video. Most of the script for that one is already written, actually, and I'm going to here's me shifting the conversation to talking about the month that's coming up. The month that's coming up, I'm making I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna make a pretty big one, because I want to dig in more to the format of video that I made about like why do people do things. I'm not gonna spoil everything about it. What's it called? But so like almost a year ago now, I did a video like why. Fuck, the music is so loud. I'm so unbalanced today. So a year ago, I made a video called "Why Do People Join the Military?" and it's definitely one of my best made videos, and it's definitely one of those videos that I'm proudest of. Like, I think that's one of my better videos, and I want to make a video like that again. And my next one is going to be one like that. I have a few more videos in the sort of same vein, and sort of like why do people do this? Because I think it's a really like interesting, like video essay format that I think I could dig into, and I think it's something that I should dig into a bit more. So my next video is going to be something like that. Other things for the month that's coming ahead, I have a few projects in the pipeline that I can't fully talk about. There's one that I'm legally not allowed to talk about because of non-disclosure agreements. And there are 2 projects that I think I can talk about. I'm not super sure. But I'm gonna make 2 special things for Nebula. So you're gonna see that. That's probably not in the month that's coming up, but it is going to come in the near future. So that's something to look forward to. But that's something that is like more solid. Yeah. Yeah. Other things that are going to come in the month ahead. I'm going to set up a regular streaming schedule next week at the start of November. I have finally moved in here now in my new apartment. I've lived here for a while now, but now I finally actually live here. A lot of the work that I've had that's sort of like been tripping me up, and also the cold that I've been dealing with, have made it so that I don't really have a regular streaming schedule. But for people on the what do you call it? For people on Twitch who care about me playing video games, I'm going to stream that. I already have a regular streaming schedule when it comes to like day streams, my end of month hangouts and Patreon streams and stuff like that. But I'm going to what do you say? Yeah, I'm gonna try to stream a few times regularly video games, because I want to do that. And I'm gonna try to do that at least 2 or 3 times a week. Just because I want to make partner on Twitch, because I think that would be fun. Yeah. Do I have anything else? Anything else to mention about the state of the channel? The state of the channel is pretty good. Generally, actually, when talking about like generally for a month. This video, you know, not my most popular video, but also one that like drove an okay number of subscribers. Not as much as usually, but I did reach 80,000 subscribers this month, so that's something. And I even hit 81. I can see now I just hit 81,000. So that's pretty cool. If I go to there's a pretty not insignificant chance that I'm going to hit 100,000 subscribers before my next birthday. So sometime in early next year, I'm hoping to hit 100K. You know, unless I get super lucky with my next video when I get fucking 20,000 subscribers in 1 month, which is probably not going to happen because I'm going to upload it at the end of November, which means that I would have to get those, and I'm probably not going to get a lot of subscribers during November because I'm not publishing anything until the end of it, which means 1 month for 20K. Not impossible, but it would have to be my best month ever if I have to get that in here. Get the play button. I want to get the fucking play button. A not insignificant number of my peers have gotten the play button recently, which great for them, right? I love that for them. Love it when other creators succeed and get the play button. But I want the play button. I want it. Happy for my friends and coworkers and acquaintances who get it. Great for them. They deserve it. But I want it. Did you recolor that Ivar shelf behind you, or has it always been that color? It's always been that color. I'm not sure it's on the Ivar shelf though. I have to clean this up a little bit. It might be an Ivar shelf, but I'm not sure actually. Came with the apartment. Oh, also, if you have any questions at all about anything, please dump them in the chat, and I will try to answer them because I like doing that. I'm trying. Have you not got a play button yet? Listen, because I don't have 100K subscribers yet. People sometimes people get into my comment section or like talk to me on Twitter or like send me an email, or meet me in real life. This has happened a few times now because I've been like at events where my fans have come, like Swedish fans. If you're out there, hi. If I've met you, I fucking love it. But I have met people, and I get the impression that they think I'm famous, and I'm really not. If I do get 100,000 subscribers, then I will accept the role as an internet niche micro celebrity. But before that, no. Halloween lo-fi hip hop. I couldn't find any like proper lo-fi Halloween hip hop tunes, unfortunately. Must be Big Pharma. Listen, Big Pharma is the play for a lot of things. Do you think special is spooky for October? Well, I went to a Halloween party. I went to a Halloween party and I drank some alcohol, which you shouldn't do, kids, because it makes your voice go raspy the morning after. And like had to run around Stockholm at 1 a.m. to find a bus. But I haven't really done anything super special, unfortunately. I got a pumpkin, and I was gonna carve it, and then I got sick. So, like I've gotten sick, and like I've been able to work and stuff. But the thing is, like when you're sick and you work at the same time, and you just do stuff because you still have to do things. When you don't have to do things anymore, you don't want to do anything else. Like you just want to go to bed. Like I think on Tuesday, yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday, literally all I did. Was I laid in my couch and I watched 2 seasons of Stargate SG-1. That's all I did. And drank tea, took it easy, just relax for a little bit. As you should do when you're sick, you should rest. I'm gonna see if I missed it. I'm gonna go up to the top high and see if I can hear anything. Haven't watched the whole Team C's thing, was too busy working the whole weekend. Don't worry about it. The video's gonna be there for a while, so I don't I don't like, you know, it's gonna be there fucking forever. And I don't actually expect anyone to watch the Team Seas video as much like as a video essay, because I know it's an event thing, and I see it more as like the April Fool's video, in the sense of like it's very short, and because it's very short, and because the thumbnail is a bit different, I get the feeling that people know, like they will instinctually know that like, okay, well this isn't part of the regular content. This is just a little thing. This is just a little something extra. Yeah. Any plans to go back on Well, There's Your Problem? The Hindenburg ep was amazing. I had a great time on the Hindenburg episode. It was so fun. I'd love to come back if they wanted me, but I feel like it's not my place to like ask to be invited back. I don't want to invite myself back, but I'd love to come back. Like if they ever do the royal flagship Vasa, for example, which is a Swedish warship that tipped over on its maiden voyage and sank, I'd be down to do that. But I'm not sure how interesting it would be for people to watch. But I'd be down. I had a great time. I had so much fun. I feel like I really, well, I don't know if they agree, but I feel at least that I gel very well with like their type of comedy, which is fun. It's not the old shelf you had. Hello, new yeah, this is a new shelf. My old shelf is in a garbage dump somewhere, probably. Well, it probably got burned up, actually. Because I chucked it out in the move. Or I may have sold it, I don't remember. It was a while ago. What's the deal with Halloween in Sweden? I heard in Britain, Russia, the way it's currently celebrated, it's a pretty recent cultural export from the USA. Is that the case in Sweden? Oh, for sure. It's a very much an American thing, and like some more traditional Swedes don't like Halloween because it's like it's American tomfoolery. But people like candy, people like dressing up, people like having Halloween parties, and people like pumpkins, and people like scary movies. So you know, it's a cultural import that I feel like people like, which is how cultures spread. You know, like now it is now part of just culture here because people like it. Going from ultra niche to just regular niche. Best food / fun activity in Sweden? Fun activity? I have no clue, because Sweden doesn't have any fucking activities. Like, Sweden doesn't have anything that's like uniquely Swedish for activity. Like midsummer celebrations is pretty fun, but that's it. But there's not that much to do. Like, I live in Stockholm now, and it's, I don't know, it's a city. It's very much like, you could go to any city in the world and have basically the same experience here as here. Like you could, but with more water and more bridges. There's a lot of bridges. Celebrity acquisition arc. I wish. I'm an executive from Bristol Myers Squibb coming to my party tonight. The scariest monster of all. I watched Dune. It was fucking amazing. Hell yeah, it is. Dune was great. I like Dune. I had a lot of criticism for it when I first saw it, and I don't think I'm wrong on any of those criticisms. But I like Dune. I like the movie Dune, and I'm happy that it's that the sequel got greenlit. Yeah. What are some cool historical places you would like to visit? Basically, the entire Fertile Crescent. Like the big sites of the Akkadian Empire, and like Uruk. I would like to visit Uruk. There are a lot of sites in there's a lot of sites like in Palestine that I would like to visit historically. But as is the case with many of these things, it's either not safe for me to go as a transgender person, or it's I have to go to some of these sites like by being a tourist in Israel, and I'm boycotting a lot of like Israeli products, so I'm not going to go to Israel until they end the occupation of Palestine and the settlements. But that's a subject for like a whole video. That's too very, very controversial. But the point is, like, I'm not gonna go there and spend my money. So it's a bit like, eh. The GoFundMe was a good joke. We had great fun on that episode. Ask them to do it. I mean, I could. I don't really know how. The first time I got on, like, a fan tagged me, I think, in a Well There Should Problem podcast tweet, and then it just sort of like escalated from there because I was like, fuck yeah, and they were like, yeah, fuck yeah, and then it all worked out. The history of windmills. Do you plan on going on the YouTube zone again? I don't really know when they do the YouTube zone. Honestly, like, I don't understand. I don't really understand what it is. I don't really understand Trash Future, because I think it's a Trash Future thing. I don't get it. I'll have you, like, I don't understand it. Good for them. They're having a great time, but I don't get it. The only times I even notice it is when I stream, and then I at the end of my stream I like raid someone else and like send my viewers over there, and then I see that like the YouTube zone is online, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I go over there and I say hi, and then they say hi, and then they invite me over, and then I go. So it's very, yeah. Shooting a flaming arrow at the Diablo goat. Very true. I'm gonna see a horror movie about the ghosts of drowned Swedish sailors wreaking havoc in Europe because they still think it's the 30 Years' War. That's a good. I've seen worse horror movies with worse pitches. Midsummer is literally just drinking, though. Yeah, that's Swedish tradition. Every Swedish holiday is just drinking. What's the Dune spelled dunk in this film? Is because it tries to make Duncan Idaho the main character. People make a lot of fun of Duncan Idaho's name, especially on TikTok. I've noticed, like they call him like Freddy Texas. It's just like, I get it. Like, yeah, the state of it is a name, but I think that's a very like English speaking centric way to view it. Because when I read Dune for the first time, I did read it in English, right? But I haven't grown up with like Idaho, like being a state. Like I know that Idaho is a state, but I also know that like Arkansas is a state. And if I see like Arkansas written down, I'm not super sure Arkansas is like the first thing that I would think about. So I read it and I saw Duncan Idaho and I was like, cool, fantasy name. Like Idaho on my level is on the same level as Atreides. Which, you know, it isn't. It is a real word, but like not to me, like 15 years old, it's not. I don't know. I have no idea what Idaho means. You could tell me that the U.S. has like a 51st state called Harkonnen or Harkonnen. The fact that the movie fucking alternates, by the way. Sorry, this is a diversionary rant, but I know that there's some controversy about like whether or not to pronounce Harkonnen as Harkonnen or Harkonnen, like the bad family in Dune. And the movie uses fucking both. So I mean, incredible. The Afghanistan YouTube zone. I think the American names are the best part of Dune. Dune 2000 remaster when? I'm literally considering playing Dune 2000 on stream when I do my thing, because I my introduction to Dune, actually, my very first introduction to Dune was playing Emperor Battle for Dune, which is a command and conquer real-time strategy game, which is a sequel to Dune 2000, and which I never played. I never played Dune 2000, but I played the sequel, where you have 4 fucking discs on CD. When I got the installation disc. No wait, it was 6 fucking discs. There were 2 discs per house. Because they had the House Atreides, House Arconan, and House Ordos, which they had like taken from like a Dune encyclopedia and like as a name and just like made a whole fucking fiction about it, expanding on the lore significantly. It's a great game. It's one of the best games that I've ever played, and I do want to play it again. And I do want to play it on stream. And Dune is in the fucking zeitgeist, so. And there's actors and shit. Like, it has the guy who plays Worf. The guy who plays Worf plays Duke Leto Atreides, but it doesn't follow the storyline of the book like at all. It's just like as far as I know, it just like makes up its own story in the Dune universe, which is great. Like, Paul? No, fuck that. Who's that? No, doesn't matter. We're gonna. We're gonna become a Dune worm anyway, the story basically, the story about Emperor Battle for Dune is, the Emperor is dead, and the Spicing Guild or whatever, the Spicing Guild and the Bene Gesserit, like people who aren't the Emperor, have basically decided that. The 3 great houses will like battle for Dune on Arrakis. They can only fight on Arrakis, nowhere else. And whoever wins becomes emperor. I think is the deal. It's fucking great. It's so fucking good. It's literally one of the best games ever made. It takes itself exactly as serious as Dune needs to be. I honestly, okay, sorry, complete disconnect, right? So, I literally think that the cutscenes from Emperor Battle for Dune is exactly the energy that Dune requires. I think that Denis Villeneuve, like, close, very close. And I think that like David Lynch, close, but on the other direction. Like if there are 2 extremes, which is like camp and epic. Epic is Denis Villeneuve, does it great, and it's closer to what Dune is actually. And then there's David Lynch, which is just camp. Real Dune is like somewhere like here, close to epic, but still a little bit of camp. And the game has that. It's fucking great. I need to play that game. I'm gonna play that game. I'm ranting so much. It's a fucking good game, and it is like lore friendly too. It takes all the aspects of like the extended Dune universe, and uses them, adds its own shit that like fits with the lore really well, and like makes its own story that has nothing to do with the books. I wish video games did this more. I wish video game adaptations just been like. They just took a universe and be like, yeah, but the story that you know doesn't happen. I wish they just took the Star Wars universe and was like, yeah, but the Galactic Empire doesn't happen. Well, I guess they did that with like Old Republic. See? Old Republic, also great game. This is how you get great video games. It's funny because the Westwood video games took a lot from the Lynch movies. Yes, so the aesthetics of the game is taken from the Lynch movie. They like the outfits are very similar, but they're slightly shifted to just be a little bit more serious, and also like a little bit more funny in a weird way. Which is Dune is also like funny and at times it has like weird comedy and just weird absurd shit. As I mean the perfect mix of Denis Villeneuve and David Lynch. I love it. Yeah, tomorrow or later in the week, maybe, probably. I'm gonna play it. Warhammer 40k stole a lot of shit from Dune? Oh, probably. I don't know enough about Warhammer 40k to say about that. A little more serious and a little bit more funny is actually a good description of how the games do it. Alright, I've been ranting about fucking Dune video game now for a long time. I like Dune though. It was great. Speaking of movies, I'm gonna see The French Dispatch this week too. It's gonna be fun. Alright, what else do we have? I'm gonna stream for just an hour here. I'm noticing already that my voice is getting a little tired. But we should be fine. Why do you like geese so much? I fucking love geese. Have you seen geese? There's a painting next to me which I wish I could show you, but I can't. But it's a picture of me riding geese. And one day maybe I'll show it to you, but I can't. But I do love geese. I fucking love geese. Geese are my is my fursona, my fursona. Back in the day when people would like make furry fan art of their fans, of their YouTubers. People would make me into a goose. Honk honk. And yes, I have played Untitled Goose Game. Played on stream once too. It's delightful. Lovely. I haven't finished it though. I need to finish it. I think I almost finished it and then I didn't finish it. I'm probably gonna play it again. Because it's funny. Did you get my thing about gender fantasy? Oh, I haven't seen that. Name Harkonnen comes from a Finnish person whose name Frank Herbert saw in a phone book. Yeah, because like Harkonnen is a normal Finnish name. I think I've actually met a person called Harkonnen. But then if we're gonna pronounce it correctly, it should be pronounced Harkonnen, and not Harkonnen, or like not Harkonnen, Harkonnen. And then you may as well just say Harkonnen. Because if you're gonna Anglinize it, you may as well go all the way. What was the thing about gender fantasy? I can't find that. I don't want to miss questions, especially if you want them answered. If I do miss a question, please repeat it, and I will try to get to it, because I do like it. The DOS one is Dune 2. Yeah, so that's... Dune 2 is actually, I don't think... It's weird, because I don't think Dune 2 is actually a sequel. Dune 2 is only named Dune 2 because they wanted to sort of like make a remake, but they wanted to make a new remake of an older Dune game, but it's not actually a sequel in that sense, but they wanted to just make a new iteration. If I remember correctly. It's fucking stupid. Well, I can't Google Dune 2, because now... everything that's gonna come up is, yeah. Mia's gonna have fun with that. Listen, it's gonna be great. I'm writing a novel about fantasy World War I and its aftermath, and one of the things about the setting is that their religion is based on gender essentialism. Interesting. The Templin Institute made a video about it. I like the Templin Institute. They're fun. They do good shit. I think. I do like that they make sort of like spooky things. Why do some noisy Twitter people want to read Dune as a white savior story when in later books it makes it so obvious that it's a dystopia and you're not meant to like the main character? Because the first book tricks you. So Frank Herbert is really smart here, because if you read the first book and the second book partially, you get the impression that Paul is the main character, and he follows sort of the hero's journey in a very sort of like half predictable way, but then it sort of twists, right? Like Frank Herbert takes this like very established trope and like twists it. But most people never get to the twist. Most people, like, they may have read the initial Dune and they may have seen the movie, and the movie doesn't get to the twist yet. And you can be forgiven for thinking that this is just like a classic hero's journey, and you can sort of like extrapolate where the story's gonna go. But you can't, because it goes weird later. That's part of why I wanted to make a video about it. I made one on great men and Elon Musk, and wanted to talk about the great man theory of history, and talking about a little. I wanted to mention at least that like Dune and Paul walks blind. Spoilers for Dune and Paul's story, by the way. But Paul walks blindly into the desert and dies alone, having caused the deaths of trillions of people. And it's either him or his son, I don't remember which one, who openly compares himself to Adolf Hitler. That's not a good guy, and he knows it. Paul is overwhelmed by this guilt, which is why he fucking dies alone. And then the Emperor turned himself to a worm. The film itself is explicitly critical of Lawrence's romantic view and its consequences of its development. Yeah. When was the first Dune novel release? I think like in the 60s? 1960... I have to check it. 1965. Fuck yeah. And it's a great book. It's a dense read, but it's a great book. There's a TikTok that I saw not too long ago about like someone had like the text about like, oh, so you're reading Dune? What's it about? I don't know. Who is the bad guy? I don't know. Is Paul the hero? I don't know. You really do read like the entire first book, and so it's like, yes, things are indeed happening. I don't know if I'm supposed to root for anyone. Yeah. It's a lot of good themes though. But you do also kind of have to read. You kind of have to keep in mind that like Dune, when it came out as a novel, it was initially released serialized. So there's a lot of like chunky parts of it, and then they sort of all combine into making a cohesive narrative. But like there's a part in the middle, for example, that like acts as a very good ending for like a chapter, for like a big story arc, which is the end of the first movie. But but that happens like throughout the entire thing. Like there are multiple like individual stories, and they all sort of want to tell their own thing, so the themes aren't necessarily cohesive in the same way. Like there's a dinner scene, for example, in the book that's not included in the movie, where they have a lot of like political intrigue, where they keep talking about like this person knows that this person knows that this person knows that this person knows what they're up to, and it goes into like that, and also like a plot thing with like Paul's mother talking about like knowing things. It's all like, as the Baron says, plans within plans within plans. Like people discover plots, but then they have to think about whether or not those plots were intended to be discovered, because that's the real plot. And like, are people leaving the planet because I'm an authoritarian dictator, or am I actually loved and they're leaving for another reason? How much authoritarianism is justified in order to be a good leader? That's something that Paul's dad struggles with for a long time. That's also like not included in the movie. Like there's a lot of these themes that don't really make it through to the movie, unfortunately. Thoughts on Boris Johnson's fall of Rome comments? Fuck that. Like I freaking hate it when people compare their own countries to Rome, because Rome has fallen, but Rome fell in the 1400s, and not because of fucking mass immigration. Because they had a lot of bad alliances and bad leaders and bad management, and a bad economy in the end. Gonna watch Hexan tonight, 1972 Swedish quasi-documentary style about the history of witches. Know anything about Swedish witches? Not really. I know that there's a tradition for... there's like a hill in Småland, I think, called the Blue Hill, where witches go once a year close to Halloween to, dance with the devil and do ungodly delights and stuff like that. I've been there. I've been there with my mom, who may or may not have been a witch. That's not a joke, by the way. She said my mom is very cool and very like down to clown with like witchcraft. And so is my grandma and my great grandma. My great grandma, who I visited, literally lived in a hut in the middle of the forest. And would do spells. She would recite spells while throwing out the bathwater out the window, to warn the little folk, like elves basically, but called Knyt, to warn them so that they wouldn't get wet, because you don't want to upset the Knyt, because then they'll fuck you up, as elves are wont to do. So I yeah. Now that I think about it, I've heard a lot about Swedish like witchcraft shit growing up. Do I come from a family of witches? Yes, I do. I know that. I don't know why I said it like that. I for sure do. Were Herbert's son and other writers on shrooms as well? Since I understand that the later books were even weirder. Okay, here's my theory. Here's my crackpot theory. I don't think that Frank Herbert's son, because there's an idea that like Frank Herbert took drugs and wandered the desert in California, and that's why he wrote Dune, which he did. That's like uncontroversial that he just did. He took a lot of drugs and hallucinated about sand. That's why Dune. That's why Dune exists, and it's great. But what happens is you can create great art from that. But it gets weird if because if you can take like years and years to sort of like deconstruct your like spiritual experiences, right? It can become beautiful art, and I think that Dune is beautiful art. But if you're reading the art inspired by psychedelics in the fucking desert, if you're reading that and you're like, I'm going to emulate this without having the same experience, and even if you do have the same experience, it's just like, you can't, because that's not how psychedelics work. Like, you can't just emulate that experience. What happens is you just go weird, and then it doesn't make sense, because Dune's weirdness makes sense in a weird way. There is a cohesive logic to it, even if it's completely bonkers. There is a logic to it. But once you sort of take away the logic of having been the person who experienced it in the first place, and you understand where it's all coming from and how it's all connected, then it's just weird. So that's my theory. Serial is a bit earlier than that, I think. Yeah, exactly. So like the book was published in '65, and it was serialized like in the years before that. Okay, what I'm going to do here is, because I'm coming up to the end of my stream, and there's a lot of good questions, but half the stream has been about Dune, and I love it. I fucking love Dune. Where the fuck is Dune actually? Ah! Here we go. Dunk. So with that, I'm going to I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna head out. So my next streams, I'm gonna upload my streaming schedule on Patreon, as I always do. It's gonna be up there. I'm going to have my streams on the weekends now. I had my last Ask Me Anything thing on last Thursday, because I was busy yesterday, couldn't stream then, and Friday had charity streams to do as well, which is the thing I did, by the way. Yeah, that's the thing that also happened this month. I did a charity thing for Scare to Care, and we raised a lot of crowns. I don't remember exactly how much, by playing scary video games. So if you want to see me get scared by playing a scary video game, you can do that. You can actually watch the VOD on my Twitch channel, because we streamed it on my channel as well. So you can do that if you want. That'll be great. Yeah, so next week I'm gonna upload my public streaming schedule to my Patreon. You can see when I stream there. If you're a patron of mine, you have access to more streams. I do a React stream for all my patrons, and if you pay $5 or more, I do answer questions in the middle of the week as well. What else? I'm gonna also fix my regular Twitch streaming schedule during the week, and I'm gonna try to stream a bit of like that too, because I want to stream video games. I think it's fun. Next video is gonna come out on the 30th of November, so like in a month. Little bit of time. I know it's gonna be a bit of a doozy with 6 weeks between my last like main video and the next. But you had that last time too, so it's gonna be okay. But this one's gonna be one of my biggest videos that I've ever made. One of the maybe longest videos I've ever made, because I've been working on it for a while. And I'm going to try to shoot some scenes next week as well, if I can get my cough to be fixed, and then I'm gonna edit for like 3 weeks. So it's gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna be a really intense one, because I want to. I think that's all I have to say. I'm going to answer some quick questions. Maybe I won't be able to catch up to chat, but once I've done that, I'm gonna head out, because I'm gonna watch a scary movie with a friend. My grandma got it all sorted out. She did. She kept a spell book. Talking about the fall of Rome is classic dumb reactionary stuff. Yeah. Famously straight old Roman Empire, yeah. YouTube won't stop recommending me teapots. It's telling you something. With her Dune phase, big Dune phase. Yeah, for sure. Someone saying that you should watch Dune on psychedelics. No. But, I mean, you probably shouldn't, right? You probably shouldn't go to a movie theater. Legally, I have to tell you that you should not do that. Legally, I have to tell you. You're good on charity stream. Thank you so much. If Mia gets Big Mommy Milkers, she will really be... Yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Okay, this has nothing to do with anything that I'm talking about. I'm literally in conversation with the Swedish healthcare system about getting me like big fucking mommy milkers. So I mean, next time you see me, probably not. It's gonna be probably sometime this spring if I'm lucky. But hopefully I'm gonna get fucking bonkers or stuff. But then if I do that, I'm gonna make a video about it because I gotta monetize it. And with that, with the boob talk out of the way, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna watch a scary movie because it's Halloween. And I will see all of you soon. To watch on computer? Of course, oh yeah, it's a stream thing. Alright. Lecture thing. The lecture thing is good too, but I did a charities thing yesterday. Alright, I'm gonna head out. Ah!